Bright Duty. Every student matters.
Hello students, this is the third topic of your chapter and the name of this topic is rusting of iron. As I discussed in the first topic itself when we introduced you with chemical change and physical changes, we referred that rusting of iron is a chemical change. Right? Now we all know that chemical changes comprise of a reaction. There must be a reaction that is occurring whenever a chemical change is happening. Right? So now we have to study what actually happens when iron is rusted. What is the rusting of iron? Basically, as I told you, iron ko jang lag jana is rusting of iron. Right? There is a development of a powdery substance on the surface of the iron article which is porous and it ruins the iron article. It eats up the metal, right? It destroys the iron article. If you keep the iron article in the air for long, it will eat up the metal, eat up the iron metal completely, and it will destroy the article. So this is rusting of iron. This is known as rusting, the formation of rust on the surface of iron. Now why does this happen? As I told you that iron comes in contact with the aerial oxygen present around it, and the moisture from water, which is moisture from air, which is water vapors, right? When iron reacts, as you can see in this reaction, iron reacts with the oxygen present in the air, from the air, and water present in the air, basically water vapor, to form rust. The iron oxide is the rust, and this is the new product formed. So yes, rusting of iron is a chemical change because new products are formed, right? And it is an irreversible change. Once rusting has happened, you cannot obtain the normal iron back from it. The iron that has been eaten up cannot be obtained back after it has rusted. And it occurs on all iron articles. Imagine there are ships, right? Ships basically float in water. So they are in continuous contact of oxygen from the air and water underneath them, right? So that is why ships bear a lot of rusting, and there is a lot of maintenance cost due to that, due to rusting itself. So rusting is a very bad thing to happen to an iron article. Now one thing is, for rusting, the presence of oxygen and water or water vapor is essential. Basically we need both of them. If there is only oxygen and no water vapor, no rusting will take place, and if oxygen is not present and there is only water vapor or water, then also rusting will not take place. We need to have both of them for rusting to take place. Alright. So now students, another factor is if it is more humid. What is humid? Humid is kind of a weather when it is rainy. You must have noticed that during rainy season, there you sweat a lot, right? You sweat a lot and there is humidity in air, right? What is this humidity basically? This humidity is the presence of excessive water vapor in the air. Now, as we already know that water vapor cause rusting. Water vapor is one of the factors responsible for rusting, important factor, essential factor. So when water vapor is present in ample amount, it will definitely increase the rusting. It will increase the rate of rusting because water vapor is something that assists rusting. So if there is more water vapor present, then definitely rusting will become faster. So yes, if it is more humid, rusting becomes faster, right? Now, how can rusting be prevented? As we already know that rusting causes damage and it basically is costly to keep the product maintained, right? If we need to keep our iron articles safe, we need to keep them maintained. We have to spend some money on maintenance. And if we imagine the loss of ships, it will be a lot of maintenance cost for ships to be maintained, right? So what can be done? First of all, painting is something that can prevent rusting. Now how can painting prevent rusting? Imagine you have an iron article and you have applied paint on it, right? It has been covered in paint. Now there is no direct contact with the oxygen and water vapor present in the air and the iron article, right? There is a layer of paint in between them. So this paint does not let the iron get in direct contact with the oxygen and water vapor. That is how painting can protect our article from the rusting. Similarly, it similarly goes for oiling, right? Oil is again a layer. It forms a layer on the article. You have an article and you are applying oil on it. So this oil does not let the aerial oxygen and water vapor harm the article. Or you can also use grease. If you continuously keep greasing the iron articles, if you have a bicycle, this is a typical example. The chain of your bicycle, if it is getting down again and again, if you have a problem with the chain, then it does not remain in the same position again and again, it falls down. It means that chain has rusted. And how is it repaired? It is repaired with the help of grease. The mechanic basically applies grease to all the parts of a bicycle so that it does not, the rusting does not occur further. So you should keep greasing your iron articles or oiling, or you should paint them to prevent them from rusting, right? Another thing that can protect our iron articles is galvanizing, basically galvanization. What is galvanization? The process of depositing a layer of zinc on iron is called galvanization. What are we doing? In this process, you have an iron article and you are applying a layer of zinc on it. Now, zinc metal does not get rusted easily. It takes time to catch rust. So, zinc basically protects the iron article. Right? The iron article is not in direct contact with oxygen, right? The iron pipes we use in our homes to carry water are galvanized to prevent rusting. Imagine if the water pipes are not protected, the rust will, there definitely will be rusting, right? Because they are in direct contact with water and oxygen is present in soil as well, right? So to prevent that rusting, we cover the iron pipes with a zinc layer, and this procedure of depositing a layer of zinc on iron is known as galvanization, right? So this is another procedure. First was painting and oiling. Second is galvanization. Third is alloying. What happens in alloying? Now we know that iron catches rust, but the scientists have discovered another alternative instead of using iron. Basically, stainless steel is made by mixing carbon and metals like carbon, chromium, nickel and manganese. Basically, you use iron plus carbon plus chromium plus nickel and plus manganese. You mix so many of metals with carbon to produce steel. And this steel is stainless. Basically what happens is, this steel is now much more useful than iron. Why is that so? It is much more useful because it does not catch rust. Steel does not catch rust at all. And how do we obtain this? Steel is obtained by mixing iron with carbon, chromium, nickel and manganese, and steel has a good strength as well. So instead of iron, steel can be used in different substances. For example, in kitchen utensils. Kitchen utensils are basically when you cook something, there is water present in mostly all the recipes. So if you cook and you put water inside a pan and there is oxygen present in the air, then the pan will catch rust very easily, right? It can definitely catch rust very fast. So to avoid that, simply we use steel utensils. You must have seen plates and bowls of steel in your kitchen. That is because steel does not catch rust. It remains maintained for a longer time, right? So we can simply create alloys to prevent the rusting. It changes the property of the metal itself, and obviously alloying produces a different kind of substance which is much more useful than the iron article, right? So the first one was painting and oiling, second was galvanization, and third one is alloying. These were the methods which can help us prevent rusting. Now, how can we prevent rusting? Oh, that is why my friend Rita is complaining about iron articles rusting so fast. She lives near the coast. Imagine near the coast, basically the amount of water vapors present in the air is higher in coastal areas. As I told you, if the amount of water vapor is present in the is higher in the air, as we noticed about the humid environment, the environment near coastal areas is always humid because water keeps on evaporating, so there is much more amount of water vapor present in the air during near the coastal areas. So yes, during if you live in coastal areas, there is much more chance of your articles getting rusted very fast. So yes, you should always prevent rusting with the help of painting and oiling, galvanization and alloying. Anything you can choose from these three, and this can prevent the iron articles from getting rusted. So this was the third topic of your chapter. Thank you for your attention, students.